Steve Backley was not only the world's best javelin thrower, he was seen by many as the world's finest athlete.
Very good year, very good year. Everything went absolutely perfectly. 3 world records, European champion.
89.58, a new world record, and that's his opening throw.
I was 21. Where did he go from there? That was it, World Athlete of the Year. It was almost a fairy tale season.
It was always there.
A few months later, it all went wrong. At the 1991 World Championships in Tokyo, the qualifying rounds were supposed to be a formality for Backley.
I messed up. Went to qualifying and just didn't happen. "82 metres, I think, was the qualifying distance, and I'd been throwing 88 metres all year long, and I threw 78 metres. And the best explanation I think I've had for that was immediately after to the British press, who like, Steve, you're our best hope for a gold medal. What went wrong? And I just said,
I think, throwing just about rhythm, and today I don't think I had the rhythm. I couldn't hear the music.
They were playing the wrong record. They were playing no record. There was no music. I don't think. I remember looking down the run-up and just thinking, what am I doing back here?
Just a fortnight after the disaster in Japan, Backley faced an international field once more, this time in England.
Everyone in the world came to Sheffield after Tokyo, and I threw 91.36.
The throw was not only good enough to win, it was a new British and Commonwealth record.
So in the space of just 2 weeks, you went from failing even to qualify to being a record breaker. And that was because of your mental state.
What else could it be? In 2 weeks, you don't change physiologically. So it can't be anything else.
Extraordinary power.
Is it? Yes, the mind. I think the mind is incredibly powerful, and the body follows it.
At the highest level of sport, there is little to separate competitors in terms of fitness or technique. Yet when it comes to the crunch, under the intense scrutiny of millions of spectators, some people just lose it.
This is for the Ryder Cup. It slipped by the edge, and now things change.
Saved it! Oh my word.
The difference between winning and losing is all in the mind. Never more painfully seen than when Doug Saunders putted for the British Open in 1970.
Golfer's dream or the golfer's nightmare. 3'6", a bit downhill. He sees a non-existent obstacle, stops to pick it up. Turned out to be a blade of grass. And he's still got just this one. Somehow I knew it would happen before it did happen. Unforgettable moment in Saunders' life.
It's no wonder that under such pressure, even the best sometimes crack. But it's only now that scientists are starting to look at what's happening in the minds of sportsmen and women when the heat is really on.
I don't think you can ever actually feel that pressure unless you're there. I mean, take my husband for John. He came out to Barcelona at the last minute.
Representing Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Sally Gunnell.
And he stood in that stadium with about 15 minutes before I raced, and he said, how the hell is she ever going to do this? He just said, there's just no way that anyone can do this. You could feel the tension, all the people watching there, how massive this whole event was. And he just thought, she can't do it.
Sally Cannell, campiona olímpica, 53 segons, 23 centèsimes.
And I found it quite hard to think, God, I've actually done that.
In the top flight of sport, what is it that makes the difference?
That. Pure and simple. You've got to be good to be there. You've got to have good technique to be there. You've got to be strong. You've got to be determined. You've got to be motivated. It's this.
Right, what we're going to do today then, very simple stepping task. 2 shuffle bars, jump onto shuffle bars, walking along nice and easy, step over one, step over the other, all the way to the end, and round a couple of times just to get the hang of it. Everybody happy? Away you go.
Dave Collins is one of Britain's top sports psychologists, and perhaps its most open-minded. He's pulling together research from a huge range of scientific disciplines to analyse how stress affects performance. Collins began his career as a Royal Marine, and for this simple experiment he's gone back to his roots. For these men and women at the Army Physical Training Centre, the task of walking along parallel bars set on the ground is as easy as putting the ball into an empty net.
Go on, girl, you'll be fine. Go on.
But now Collins gets the soldiers to do exactly the same thing again. Only this time, 60 feet up in the air.
Remember, don't think, just do it.
Can't stop my legs shaking.
Don't worry, just go. Go on, just go. Don't try and feel balanced.
Yeah.
Just go, you know.
It's a graphic demonstration of how, when under stress, even the simple can become terrifying. Logically, the soldier is no more likely to fall off the bars now than when she was at ground level.
Go for it.
But her mind has let fear set in, and her body tenses up. She's lost it.
I remember moving to Arsenal, and my confidence just drained away from me. As the ball came over, I was almost dreading that everyone else would miss it and it would come to me. It seemed to happen so quick. As I looked at the goalkeeper was this giant of a person that seemed to fill the whole goal, and the goal accordingly shrank. And there just seemed no way that I was able to score, and more often than not that was the case.
How did that feel at the time?
It is a very public kind of humiliation, because there's no hiding place. You can't just walk off. Although players do at times. They make excuses to come off because their confidence is gone. But I was one of those stupid ones that always tried to stay on the pitch and hope that it would go right, and more often than not it didn't.
A few years later, Chapman, then with Leeds, became the league's most prolific goal scorer. His skills hadn't changed, but confidence makes everything feel different.
You seem to have so much time to make the right decision.
That's good running and a fine ball.
It's almost in slow motion. Time almost stands still. You can actually almost see the indentation in the boot as the winger crosses the ball, and it takes an eternity to come over to you, and the goal seems enormous. The goalkeeper shrinks accordingly, and there just seems an enormous area to hit. And you just don't think about failure. Failure never crosses your mind.
Chapman! Oh, a magnificent goal by Lee Chapman!
Think of a top level, which is total control. Everything's fantastic. I'm not having to think about things. Things are effortless. I'm really performing on my best. And a bottom level, which is unfortunately much more familiar to most of us, which is out of control. Now, my job as a sports psychologist is to teach the athlete skills so that she or he can get from there into the in-control state.
Sports scientists have long acknowledged the importance of total mental control, yet few before have tried to measure it. The reason is simple. It's an intensely personal, almost mystical experience. In 1993, as she prepared for the World Championships in Stuttgart, Sally Gunnell was suffering from a cold.
To me, it's all the sort of the way you portray yourself beforehand. You know, it's very important that you're giving off very positive vibes. So I would, you know, make sure that no one could hear me cough, and make sure I was still wandering around feeling, you know, this is it. You know, you've got to run against me, and I'm feeling good here. It was all like acting almost. You know, I was trying to just create this character and try and push down the little negative me inside that was, you know, was really, you know, not quite right sort of thing. And then by the time I'd got to the line, and we're talking 5-10 seconds beforehand, constantly, you know, saying, this is it, go for it, you know, you might never get this chance again.
Gunnell was drawn in lane 4. Her great rival, the American Sandra Farmer-Patrick, was just outside her in lane 6.
It's weird really, but you totally forget everything. I can't really recall why. I mean, it's probably only ever happened to me probably twice in my whole career. I don't ever remember coming off the last hurdle and knowing that she was there. I mean, this is what happened. She was actually right ahead of me, and she was ahead of me all the way in, but I don't remember this, and it was only me sort of like fighting and going over the line. And you know, I stood over the line, and it was like my life was almost starting again. It had almost been on hold for that last, you know, 52.7 seconds. And it was like, well, what's happened? You know, and I didn't know that I'd actually won and that I'd actually broken the world record. Everyone thought, well, she's very calm, you know, she's just walking around. But I was looking to see, you know, what actually happened in that race. I had no idea. It was though I would just run my own, you know, tunnel vision all the way around. I don't remember any of it. It seemed like ages until actually, you know, the commentator had actually announced, or the announcer had said, you know, Sally Gunnell, new world record holder, world champion.
At that point you woke up?
Yeah, it was a little bit like that. It was a little bit like waking up. I think the thing is that in my mental preparation beforehand, you know, I go over the race so many times of me winning. And I think because I go over it so many times, it is almost like a tape recording. And once I get out there and run the race, I feel very much, I suppose you're getting into your subconsciousness in your mind that, you know, I've been there before.
I mean, it's almost like a religious experience.
Yeah, you feel as though someone's almost helping you, I must admit, just because it does feel so alien at times. You know, as I said before, it doesn't actually particularly feel like me out there, and you almost get into, it's like a trance. And you feel as though someone's, you know, I always said, someone's watching you and just sort of like, you know, pulling you around the track and letting you flow around that track. Yeah, yeah, it is an amazing feeling.
What Sally Gunnell had just experienced was a state of mind now recognized by most sports scientists as the key to top performance under stress. It's often referred to as the zone.
The zone, it's a term used where you can't do anything wrong, whether you're hitting a backhand, a forehand, or serve, or anything, and it all seems to land in. I mean, even the most ridiculous shot you possibly could try on the court, it seems to work for some reason. And when that's happening, you don't ask too many questions and you just stay with it.
You don't know where it comes from. It just comes. It's like, wow, yes, this is what I want to do. This is the shot I'm going to hit. On the 16th, I was one up against Lauren Roberts in the singles. I mean, crucial time of the match. You know, it was coming right down to the wire. And he had a good second shot, just stopped short enough. And I actually walked off the fair, went over to Suzanne and said, watch this. I'm ready, watch this.
Sam Torrance is one up on Lauren Roberts.
And you knew?
I knew I was going to do it. This is it, I'm just going to do it. Forget everything else, what it means, what it's going to win. Just do it, there it is.
And a great approach shot from Sam.
Unbelievable golf.
under the utmost pressure. You can almost feel the tension.
Unbeaten with 94 in the first innings, and still unbeaten with 100 in the second, and he gets there with the very pure stroke as well.
Perhaps you don't remember each individual delivery, but you remember the feeling of control that you had at that point, or the feeling of almost like in a, some people call it in a bubble, in a zone, in a trance if you like, where the ball's coming, you're in control, you know you're not going to get out, you know you're going to be there and get lots of runs, and that's obviously a great zone to be in. You're not always in that, sadly.
It's bordering on an altered state of awareness. I've taken 2 steps back out from myself, and I'm doing something, and I'm very aware because everything is crystal clear, and it's happening in normal time, but in a very controlled way, and I'm observing it.
It's a feeling that everything